Okay, welcome back, guys. So, the next section, we've got our bass, we've taken off the strings, we're ready to move on. Now, I really recommend when you come around to doing this general setup, you take the opportunity while the bass is stringless to give it a really good clean. Now, I would recommend you always keep yourself a good microfiber cloth to hand in your guitar case, your guitar bag, whatever, and give the bass a good wipe down after every gig, every session, every rehearsal, whatever, and especially wipe down the strings. The more you keep the strings clean, the longer they'll last, the longer they'll maintain their tone, and they'll see you through more sessions. However, when the strings are off, we can actually access more of the bass than we can normally get to, and we can really take that opportunity to give it a good clean. Now, as a general rule, you just want to give it a good wipe down with a microfiber cloth. And I'm saying microfiber cloth specifically. You can get any polishing cloth you want to, really, but these ones are very, very soft, and they'll avoid scratching up or damaging your instrument anywhere that rougher cloths could do. You also especially get underneath and next to the pickups, by the bridge, and everywhere like that you wouldn't normally get to, but take the opportunity to give it a really good clean and wipe over, everywhere that you want to. And under the headstock as well, where the strings go, in between the tuning pegs, everywhere like that, you just want to give it a nice clean. Now, the fretboard, you want to give some special attention to. In this case, this bass has a finished maple fretboard, and because of that, it's got a slight gloss finish to it. Dirt doesn't really stick to it quite as much, and the wood doesn't really sort of pick up sweat or finger grease or anything quite as much as some do. Now, if you've got an unfinished board, and this will be anything like rosewood or ebony or some of the replacements that those woods are now getting, you want to get yourself some decent cleaning stuff. Now, I would recommend the Dunlop range. They do various packs of these. This is just the very basic, simple one that I got with number 1, number 2, and that's a fretboard cleaner, and that's a conditioner. Obviously, these cleans, this conditions. You also see these as like lemon oil or guitar honey or various other names that are out there. Unfortunately, in this case, I can't show you that because the maple fretboard, these advise against using them on these type of fretboards. So I'm not going to do that today, but they come with very clear instructions. They come with a notebook, what you do, in what order you do it, and, go working through that. What we can do with those is give the frets a polish as well. Now, this is what comes with this pack. It's described as a microfine fret polishing cloth. It's very, 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 very fine cloth, sort of rubbery, essentially. Now, this is very well used, as you can see. But what we do on that one is just put it in between with our finger behind it and just rub it over the frets to give them a bit of a polish up. They do get very worn when you're playing, so you probably won't be able to see this much on camera, but rubbing it over there, it just brings back a little bit of shine to the frets, cleans off some of the gunk from either side of it, and brings back a bit of sheen to them. So you just want to give it a few rubs on each fret, working your way up the instrument, and cleaning that up. Now, there is sort of, again, other schools of thought. If you're coming from a Motown background, you'll know that James Jamerson famously never cleaned his bass. He might have given the body a bit of a rub down, but the fretboard was most definitely never touched. But unless you really, really want a very sticky fretboard, and probably fairly stinky, I would have thought, I don't recommend that way to do it, but it's, again, entirely up to you. The cleanliness of the fretboard doesn't necessarily affect the playability of the bass, but it will possibly affect the tone. But that's up to you. Personally, I like to keep it fairly clean. I don't spend hours on it, but just give it a rub down. And while we're not using any of the cleaner projects, just get a nice clean cloth and give each of the frets, or in between each of the frets rather, a good rub down. Now, if you've got an unfinished maple board, again, it's not recommended that you use cleaning products on there, but you can use a warm, damp cloth. Certainly, the My Music Man has an unfinished maple board, and that does pick up the finger dirt much more than this one does. But on this one, I just find a good microfiber cloth, give it a wipe. There's a few points there where it's picked up some dirt, and you can just work those out. In this case, it's not like super dirty, so just give it a wipe down, make sure it's nice and clean. And yeah, so just keeps your base in a good condition.